Whether the concept is good or not depends on how the market reacts to it, right? And how you pivot and react while you're operating. So that's how you sustain.
Hello and welcome to the Top 30 podcast. This is Gastro Gurus, the show where we dive into the success stories of food and beverage professionals and learn about their journey and fiery passion for the industry. Today we are joined by Jin Boone, founder of Omni Whiskey Bar and co-founder of Holy Spirits. From software engineering to the world of whiskey, starting Holy Spirits and setting the path for quality artisanal spirits in Malaysia. This is Jin Boone on Gastro Gurus.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us today. I am very excited to have you here with us. And to start us off, I would love to hear a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background as well.
Hi, my name is JB. Full name is Jin Boone, but I've been called JB since 20 years ago. I'm actually a trained software engineer in IT. So I have been in the IT industry for about a decade or plus or so. Used to be based out in Cyberjaya for 13 years. So I went into software programming to project management, portfolio management, end up in management and handling the global project management office for one of the large companies in Cyberjaya. Wow. But as things goes by in IT, there's always an end. A lot of things went to India. Mm-hmm. And then, so a lot of things been outsourced and they are trying to retain me for my role, but it was getting a bit more mundane. Mm-hmm. So the opportunity arose and, I started Holy Spirits together with my 3 other partners. Today there's only 2 of us left, founding partners, part of the company. So that was the opportunity to introduce me to the world of alcohol and F&B. Yeah.
Right. Wow. I was not expecting the IT part. That's such a different jump. So to move on, so you've already spoken about how it wasn't always a part of the plan since you've been in tech before. So what made you come into F&B?
I think it's the attraction of the opportunity to fulfill or serve in different ways. And in where IT is, it's always an email, it's always processes, it's always guidelines and best practices that is quite strict because it's data protection and all these things, yada yada. But in the F&B world, it's more loose. The playing field is more wide. Yeah. While it's a very traditional setup in terms of business approach, but I kind of inherit certain traits that I was climbing the ladder or when I was in the rat race into the F&B scene. So Holy Spirits is basically pretty much a trading company specialized on craft and artisanal spirits. And from there on, we get to know a lot of operators of various kinds, being on a 5-star hotel or the smallest cocktail bar in KL. So most of our customer portfolios now are basically the top bars in Malaysia, right? So that inspired us to basically, it's only right that we complete the whole chain of experience that we see. Like for instance, Omni. Omni was created out of our passion. Me and my partner met in a whiskey event.
Oh, it's the whiskey.
Yeah. Okay. So because at that time I was basically passionate about whiskey. Mm-hmm. So we tried a lot of whiskeys and we got together and that's how the company started. But we have held on this project for the last 6 to 8 years, thinking that the market may not be that mature yet. Mm-hmm. For what we want to achieve. So that's why we achieve it through, this has always been something that we wanted to do.
Wow, so you would say this place came from whiskey? Like that was the inspiration behind it? Like that was the
the base, the original. I mean, our parent company started with was founded based on whiskey, the love for whiskey, but the portfolio was all non-whiskey.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
So we hold on the portfolio because of how the market in Malaysia naturally is, and no, we were focusing on the non-whiskey spirits, and now in the last 2 years, we have changed our game plan after MCO to focus on boutique or other independent bottlers.
Okay, so that explains the unique brands that you have here. Yeah, it's not like something you would find somewhere else. Or for me, I would say that what sets Omni apart from other bars. But what would you say is kind of unique thing about this place than other, casual bars in KL?
Omni has about 400 over SKUs. Is it the largest in Malaysia? I say no, because there's actually another bar that has more. But in terms of, I wouldn't want to say quality because some bars do have the same liquid as well. But I think whiskey is the attraction, but value is the reason, right? In terms of, yes, we have 400 SKUs whiskeys. A lot of them are independent. In fact, I would say 70% of our portfolio is independent bottlers. We probably have the most independent bottlers on our shelves, from number of brands to number of SKUs. We also have, but we have a mixture of a very small selection of vintage whiskies and also modern liquids, right? And as time goes by, these things gets more appreciated and it's more unique as well.
Yeah.
And we also have the largest single malt Scotch whiskey selection as well in the whole Malaysia. On top of that, we have curated our own cocktail list. Majority are all classics, but it's all pretty much whiskey inspired. And our house blends, we blend our own whiskey for the curation of all these cocktails. So we have now about 7 batches now, or 8 batches now that we have experimented using various brands that we have, those that we import ourselves and those that's available in the market. Predominantly, we have also premium brands inside the blend. One of them is Makers. So yeah, this kind of after we mix it up, is interesting that you have 5 different styles of whiskey sours that we introduce on the menu.
Oh, okay. Including your own blend or like you mentioned.
Yeah. So the whiskey sours are use those blends that we have.
So now that we kind of know a bit about the story behind Omni, well, we want to know more about how you keep your menu fresh and trendy, because there are a lot of ideas happening in F&B these days. So how do you go about making sure it's always updated?
I think there are a particular few people who are chasing after the new things or new products. But I would think that there are a bigger chunk of people chasing after new experience. So the idea here is to create that new experience each time you come.
Yeah.
To have that stickiness or at least people walk out the door feeling, they enjoy themselves. It's a good place to hang out, and more importantly, they feel safe.
Yeah.
All right. So Omni is designed that way, where we give you a safe haven, be it if you are a new drinker or experienced drinker, be it in brown spirits or even in white spirits. So what we do basically in terms of keep things fresh to attract is whenever that a customer returns, we understand that their profile. I have a few of my guys here who are specifically trained for that.
Oh, wow.
Right? They understand whiskeys like the back of their hand as well. And one of them is actually a very technical person to the point where he can memorize the alcohol content, the cask numbers, and sometimes if the last time you visit and he was serving you, he can recall in a sense that what your profile is and what you like, and he probably come up new flight, a new experience for you. So that's why drinking whiskey is always a journey. Today you may like a very peated whiskey, right? And you say that you only drink peat whiskey. 2 years later, you may like sherry or you may like the fruity ones.
Yeah.
If the flip side is the same, I have known a lot of people who tell me that they cannot drink smoky whiskeys. They will never drink smoky whiskeys. Today, they buy a lot of smoky whiskeys.
Wow. Kind of
Right.
grows on you.
Yes. So it's always a journey. So it's our job as operators that not only give you in terms of what you want, but also sometimes opening up the boundaries for you to explore.
Wow. I like
Right.
that. Yeah.
So that's our job. And then when we tell them about stories and we tell them about the reason why this liquid is made like that, or maybe why the liquid tastes like that, or the vintages, how is it different than today, then there is a value to it. Not only just that I give you some liquid in a glass that has been aged for X number of years.
Yeah.
So there's always a story to it,
Wow.
not only from the taste profile, but also the whole journey. If you like it or you don't like it, there's a reason that you have it, then there's always something else to come back to you
Okay.
and say that you can have this.
Wow. And from your menu, it's very comprehensive. I can tell that you guys kind of like meet each customer at their own point of their own journey. Like whatever you are at this, like, spirit journey, you will find something that suits you in the menu. That's like how.
And
comprehensive.
that's reflected very much in terms of the categories we have. While we call ourselves a whiskey bar, we have wines, we have gin tonics, cocktails, even cognacs, although very small selection. But it caters, let's say that you have a friend that doesn't really like to drink whiskey and likes to drink wine. There's a reason for them to come as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But one is really, really reflected in terms of for all walks of experience on the whiskey journey is actually our flight program.
Okay.
We have whiskey flights from an introductory level, be it official bottling distillery labels, or you have introductory to independent bottlers. We have flights that are catered for certain profile. For instance, for the pit heads, you have all the pit journey. You have heavy pits, light pits. You have no pits,
Okay.
or you want sherry bombs, or you want fruity bombs, right? Or you want just high age, low age. You are poor or you are rich. There's also a flight catered for that.
Okay.
So we have actually a flight that says that Lim Pei got money, basically hint that I'm rich.
Okay.
And you are basically, you want everything the top shelf experience. So we have that flight as well.
I mean, to have that like spectrum of all these different bottles, that is really amazing. So to move on to the other question, let's talk about customer service. How important is that to you, and how do you achieve that?
I think customer service is one of the most important thing for every F&B. You can have a very mediocre product, but if your experience is just mediocre, people may not remember you. They won't say that they won't come back, but sometimes, given how competitive the landscape is now,
Yeah.
there's always someone better than you out there. So it's only reasonable or it's only right that we up the game. Hence, our guys are properly trained in terms of, or properly exposed in terms of whiskey knowledge, technical knowledge, and on top of that, how to deal with customers, how to interact with customers. They're not at the best yet, of course. They're not perfect, but it's a journey for them as well.
Yeah.
To understand the human nature as well. You have all walks of life coming in from here, from the high societies and the ones that are just starting off whiskeys. You have the Chinese speaking and you have the English speaking ones that clearly have very different approach on things in life. So so they have to deal with it, and it's important to have that attentive to details, I would say. So it can be as simple as, if I am ordering a whiskey, I need to make sure that the table has water. As simple as that. Back to basics. I think in the Malaysian landscape, the basics has been overlooked to a certain extent.
I see.
Right?
Yeah.
Or as simple as smile while greeting the customer. I think that's the very
Sometimes it can be overlooked.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I do remember from the soft launch here at Omni, I was just taken aback by how friendly and open the staff were. Like, I just felt like, and it was newly open. I was like, that's really impressive that they are like they blended in, and they're just, part of the family. They, they really take care of the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think to add value in terms of customer experience, I think it's always when you sell a experience, it's just so happened that liquid or whiskey is just my product.
Okay.
It is the experience that we sell to them, in terms of, making sure that they're comfortable. Are they cold or hot? Do they need a top up? Do they need something else, some nuts or whatever? It's all these things when, especially when they haven't needed that yet, that we are there for them.
Okay, yes, absolutely. That really kind of takes the experience on a different level.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say was a challenge for you when you first got into the F&B industry?
Being technical savvy or more corporate background, I would say.
Yeah.
The challenge is to understand micro businesses and how they run. In F&B, it's, you're talking about a small company managing the business itself and not being trained culinary-wise or not being trained from a beverage-wise. You basically start from behind ground zero, right? So not only you are only exposed where food is served in front of you, but you're never being exposed how food is being prepared. You never being exposed how the liquids are being prepared and everything else. So there's always an upward curve. And the one thing that has helped me is basically being alert or being observant.
Okay.
In terms of how things are done and be curious in terms of why things are done that way. Obviously, the best practice in F&B hospitality is not known to me yet. I mean, it's through observation.
Okay.
And logic.
Yeah,
common sense.
absolutely. Yeah, it's always like a learning kind of like you said, curve. I just want to talk a little bit about marketing. F&B these days, everything is digital, online. What do you wish to achieve in marketing? What kind of like image do you want to make people see? And what kind of like methods do you use for your brand?
I think I'm the weakest in marketing.
What would you like to see though?
Yeah. I think what I like to see is when people, I think the most, I like to believe I'm a traditional man. I like to believe people are talking about you more than people saying about you. Right? Word of mouth is basically a sense of confidence from another party or your circle, your inner circle says that, this place is good.
Yeah.
Right? You should go and check it out. That's the best marketing. But having said that, we live in a digital world and this information overload on what we have in our hands and what we see on the roads.
Okay.
Right? And there's small little space that you need to shout out and to get the attention of potential customers or returning customers. I think it has to be attractive to a way where, either that you remind them of the good experience, that they have a good value in terms of when they were there in your place so that they can return again.
Yeah.
Or it's attractive enough to come and explore.
Okay.
Malaysians, I think, are pretty much adventurous.
Yeah.
I like to think they have not much loyalty towards the F&B scene. If somewhere is new, I'm willing to try.
Yeah.
So I mean, to do the marketing, I think it has to be more outstanding in the sense that, something that can attract a new customer that has not explored. That will be the best in the sense that give them. That's why when we market ourselves as a new place for the new drinkers and the experienced drinkers, whether you have ordered for or you just started your journey.
Sometimes they're like the smallest things that can set you apart from other establishments.
Yeah.
Although the competition or the scene is huge here, but yeah, like how you have that niche about you that our branding. This is what we're about, basically. All right. Well, we're coming to an end here. We just want to ask your advice. What would you give? Like, what advice would you give to people who are just starting up in the F&B industry, or like getting into this business or having a place of their own?
Based on my observation and understanding, even I went through the same cycle. I think one of the best thing is the clarity of concept and purpose.
Okay, wow, that's really deep, actually.
Yeah. So when you say that you want to start an F&B business, a lot of people do that, right? Especially if you're not from the industry.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to open a bar. Almost every man's dream is to have a bar.
Okay.
But little did they not know in terms of what it takes to run a bar, to operate a bar. Sustainable, right? It's easy to open a bar. It takes a few $100,000 to open a simple bar, right? But to make the bar more attractive than the bar next door, that's where brains and purpose needs to be thought of, right? So concept and objective needs to be very clear before even, you go into your business case of financial business case. I would think so. So once that is done, that is achieved and baseline, everything else will be built following the main pillars, right? So that everything that that your direction is going to this. Now, would that be the best scenario and ensure that, you will never fail in business? No. You just properly develop a new concept. Whether the concept is good or not, it depends on how the market reacts to it.
Yeah.
Right? And how you pivot and react while, you're operating. So that's how you sustain.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said earlier, the idea is very exciting and everyone thinks about it, but maybe in a shallow way, they don't really go into the detail, like this is a huge investment.
There's a lot of F&B business I like to think that is trend focused.
Oh, okay.
Right? There's a big trend now, suddenly it spikes. We see that with the bubble tea scene.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
There's a big spike on it, and you have roads that have more than 10 bubble tea shops in Subang, and it crowded the whole place, and everyone was into it. Right? It's low barrier entry, high margins and everything else. But unfortunately, MCO happened. The sustainable question came in. It impacts everyone, not only the bubble tea, but it's picking back up again.
Yeah, thankfully.
Right. But the idea here is to have that sustainable business approach. There are restaurants that are open more than 10 years. There are some that make it big hit in the first year, but couldn't survive the third year. Okay. Right. So sustainable is very important.
Yes, that's very true. Hey, last question. Do you have like a favorite quote or a saying that you heard and kind of stuck with you?
My favorite quote is actually in Mandarin.
Okay.
I like to say it, and I like to tell my team, it's 人向高处看，水向低处流. Basically, it means, as human beings, we will always look up. We need to be positive. We need to be, ambitious. Water will always flow down. So don't be like water.
Okay. Is that a real ice in Mandarin? Well, yeah, that's about it for today. Thank you so much for your time and for being here.
Thank you very much.
And is there anything you want to add? You want to tell us about? Tell the people who are listening.
Come to Omni, the latest bar in town in Hartamas. We have 400 different SKUs of whiskeys. Pretty much a lot of selections are on independent bottlers. If highball is your thing, we also have a special highball called the Kobe highball. Okay. It's essentially a traditional highball without ice, so you can drink it like beer.
Oh.
So yeah, come and experience it.
Yes, please do. All right, thank you again for being here.
And that wraps up another episode of Gastro Gurus, where the flavors of life come to play. Today, we journeyed through the extraordinary world of our food and beverage heroes, discovering the passion and creativity that fuels the vibrant culinary landscape. We hope their stories have inspired you, tantalized your taste buds, and maybe even sparked a culinary adventure of your own. A big thank you to our amazing guest, Jin Boone, for sharing his story with us. And, of course, to you, our listeners for joining us at the table of exploration and discovery. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to Gastro Gurus wherever you listen to your podcasts, so you never miss out on our next culinary expedition. We'd love to hear from you as well. Share your thoughts and maybe tell us about your own food experiences and discoveries. See you on the next episode.